what's up, family? Come on, get fired up from the inside out. Welcome to another episode of FTIO. Your boy's feeling real good right now. We're in the second quarter of the year. We are in April, and your boy is still putting videos out. Still got the schedule. The routine is looking good. Your boy's still grinding, putting in that work at school, putting work in the gym, taking care of my ministry, taking care of my family, doing everything I possibly can because your boy is all in. Yes, I am all in. So check it out. I want to just share a little story for those of you who don't know me or don't know my backstory. I'll share a little bit with you today. So my parents divorced when I was 3 months old. My biological father continued to make choices that were hurtful and harmful to me and my mom. So my mom said, we can't do this. We can't live this way. So I gave my biological father a choice, and he chose the drugs, he chose the alcohol, he chose the lifestyle. And so me and my mom, we left at 3 months old. Fortunately, with God's blessings, about a year later, right, my real dad, I'm going to call him my real dad, he came into my life. My real dad came into my life, and he took care of me and my mom. And I call him my real dad because he was the one who was, who stepped in and stepped up, right? When I think about step parents, yeah, sometimes step parents don't always get the best reputations. But listen, step parents, right? My stepdad, he stepped in and he stepped up when my biological father stepped out. So just something to think about if you do have step parents or if you are a step parent. Now, here's the thing though, when I think about my relationship with my real dad, it wasn't the best, especially in my middle school and high school years. It wasn't the best. We weren't tight. We didn't have a deep connection, right? We didn't even really have the best relationship. And one of the reasons why, as I think about it, is because of my relationship with my biological father. See, my biological father, I would visit him every weekend till I was about 8. And then all of a sudden, he was gone for years. He was gone for years. I didn't hear from him. I didn't get a letter. I didn't get a phone call. Nothing. I didn't hear nothing. So, of course, naturally, I couldn't trust adult father figures in my life. So when my stepdad and my real dad was trying to get into my life, I was pushing him away. I wasn't having it because I wasn't, ready to trust another man like that in my life. So what did I do? I seeked relationships with father figures through my uncles, through men at my church, right? And I think about it now, and I feel kind of bad because I didn't get to have the birds and the bees talk with my real dad. I didn't, he didn't teach me how to do my oil change, things around the house. Like, he knows how to do all those things, but we never had the opportunity to do it. And I'm going to say partly because of me, because I was so hurt and I was so affected and I was so wounded by what happened with me and my biological father. It was hard for me to trust anyone else. And so when I think about it, I think about my message for you today, y'all. So my message is this: start the healing process. Start the healing process. If you truly want to grow and you want to take everything in your life to the next level, then you got to start the healing process from whatever it is in your life that's still affecting you today. Right? So let me just, give you the example. So because of what happened with my biological father, it affected me and my dad's relationship. It affected me as a brother. It affected me as a husband. It affected me as a father. I didn't realize I was holding on to all this hate, all this hurt, all this sadness. I was holding on to all this resentment, right? And all those feelings that I thought were gone or that I forgot about, I didn't really forget. They were all still there. Right? I got really good at putting things away or avoiding things or not talking about it. And you guys know what I'm talking about, right? I got good at just moving on, but not really healing from what happened in the past. And so every time opportunities or maybe something triggered me, I went right back to that default, that little Ryan that didn't want to have anything to do with any father figures in my life. And I feel bad about that because that was a good 15 years that me and my real dad got disconnected. But it wasn't until I started the healing process with my biological father that me and my real dad started getting tight. Matter of fact, a year ago, at this time during Easter, I interviewed my dad on a YouTube video, and it was called Meet My Real Dad. And I interviewed him because when I think about it now and I reflect on all the things that he did for me, all the ways that he stepped in and tried to be the best father to me, and I rejected him, I feel terrible about it. But I can't cry over spilled milk. All I can do is, wipe it up and pour another glass. So what I'm saying is this: if you start the healing process, then you can truly start to see things in a new light. So you might be thinking, well, how did you and your dad start the healing process, or your biological father? Well, here's what happened. I'm going to fast forward. So I didn't see him for years. He ended up going back to the Philippines because of the choices he was making, right? He was still making those hurtful and harmful choices, went back to the Philippines, and then I saw him when I was 18. And that experience was one of the worst experiences of my life. I'll make another video on that at another time. So I ended up faking being sick just to leave because I didn't want to be around him, right? Because I still had all those feelings built up. We didn't start the healing process then, so your boy dipped out. And then 16 years later, on my 34th birthday, I go back because I realized I got to make this right. I need to reconcile. I need to forgive. I need to heal. I need to heal. Otherwise, I'm not going to be the best father. I'm not going to be the best husband. I'm not going to be the best son that I could be if I continue to have these feelings and I continue to feel wounded and hurt. So what did I do? Went to church with my grandma in the morning, visited my grandfather in the cemetery, who passed away a year prior. Then after that, I went to go see my dad, and sadly, I had to go visit him in jail. But in jail, I had everything written out, how I was feeling, what I needed at all different times in my life. And at the very end, the two things I ended with was this: I love you and I forgive you. Yes, I said I love you and I forgive you. And I loved him because, number one, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. Half of who I am comes from him. So I have to love him for that. Right? And then number two, I forgive him. I forgave him. I mean, there's nothing that he could do for me anymore from that point on, but I had to let him know how I felt and that we were all good. And I learned how not to be when I grow up, but I was able to get those feelings out. And that was the best birthday gift I could have ever given myself, was the gift of forgiveness and the gift of healing. My heart has never felt so much lighter since that day. And then I came back, started talking to my real dad. Our connection got stronger, it got deeper, and that's when the video came out. Until this day, me and him, we can talk, we can chop it up, and now I can ask him about all these different things that I used to be scared to ask before, and our relationship is only getting better. Why? Because I started the healing process. Y'all. And the crazy part, that's only, one part of my life that I'm actually, starting to heal. There's so many other things that I've been through, that I've experienced, where I need to start the healing process. And so you're probably thinking, well, how do we do that? And how do we start that? Well, first thing we have to do is, like we say in my video, zoom in, right? We have to zoom in and figure out, number one, what are the things in our life that's being affected? Like, what are some of the current things in our life right now that are being affected because of things that happened to us in the past, right? Because a saying was shared with me a long time ago: the past is present. The past is always present. So if you're acting a certain way, or you get triggered by certain things, right? It's more likely because of stuff that happened in your past. So number one, we got to figure out, what are those things that make us feel uncomfortable? What are those things that we want to avoid? What kind of conversations do we not want to have with certain people? And then we start there. Once we figured out what it is that needs to be healed, then we start the conversation. Then we start the conversation. We write down, what is it that we're feeling around this type of stuff? What do we need so that we can, not only heal, but even move on, right? But most importantly, like I said, and there's so many other ways we can, start the healing process, but I'm going to just say it right now, y'all. Whatever you're struggling with, whatever is hard in your life, and this not just goes for like your relationship with family, but it even goes into like your relationships and your health and your wealth. When we think about how we are and how we show up in certain ways, a lot of it is because there's certain things in our life that need to be healed in order for us to grow. Because like they say, if you're not growing, then you're dying. If you're not growing, then you're dying. So what is it in your life that could use, some healing? What is it in your life that needs, some healing? Where can you start the healing process, right? So my message for you today is that, right? Because that's what the inside out is really all about. We don't want you to just get fired up from the inside and take it out. We want you to get healed from the inside out. Get healed from the inside out. But that doesn't happen, like I say in every video, it doesn't happen until we start to realize with our real eyes. And your boy is out of here. My prayer and my intention for you is to really dig deep and ask yourself, where do I need to start the healing process in my life? Who do I need to start the healing process with? Is it with friends? Is it with family? Is it yourself? But we have to start the healing process. Your boy is out of here. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you again for taking the time to check this video out. Remember, join the tribe and click subscribe on the link below. And your boy is out. Peace.